Carrillo, Jamie. It must be hard to watch.
It is difficult hearing.
It is hard to watch, I'm sure. I mean, when I watch it, I think, wow, you are one gutsy woman to do that. I mean, really.
Thank you.
And before we talk about that and what prompted you to call her and videotape that conversation, let me find out a little bit more, Jamie, about what happened to you when you were 12 years old. How did the abuse start?
She started off as my 8th grade basketball coach, and she kind of friended me, and the first incident had occurred in the bathroom and the girls' locker room at the school. She started kissing me and touching me inappropriately. She was putting her hands down my pants.
Did she say something to you that, I mean, obviously that must have been shocking to you, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
After that incident, did she say something to you that made you afraid to tell anybody what was going on?
She would always threaten me with, she was going to embarrass me and tell everybody that I was a lesbian and that I wanted it. She also told me that she was going to kill herself if I ever tried to get away.
How long did this go on? And did it escalate? Because I know it went on over a period of years.
It started when I was in the 8th grade and continued on throughout high school.
Did you feel trapped by this person? And can you describe what that was like for you?
She was pretty much obsessed with me. She was very possessive. She was always, controlling what I was wearing. She would control the people that I hung out with. Nobody was ever good enough for me. So.
And she threatened you when you
you
told her you wanted to leave, and she even jumped on top of your car once, or her car, and
whenever we'd argue, she would, I'd try and get away from her. She would rip the phone cords out of the wall, and she'd take my cell phone and break it so that I couldn't call anyone. She would, I tried to get in my car and leave, and she jumped on the hood of my car so that I couldn't go anywhere. And I thought I was going to run her over.
Sounds like she's sort of terrorized you.
Absolutely.
What about your family, Jamie? Did anyone know what was going on, or have an inkling that you were spending way too much time with this woman?
Well, everybody knew that I was spending a lot of time with her. But, she had everybody fooled. She thought that, everybody thought that she was somebody to be trusted.
Even your mom kind of thought, well, she's a responsible adult. I'd rather have Jamie hanging out with someone like her than getting in with the wrong crowd, right?
Yeah, she had a lot on her plate. She was taking care of 5 kids by herself, and that's a difficult thing to do on a minimum wage job. And she didn't have a lot of time to spend with me, and Cardosa took me under her wing, is what she was calling it. And I guess she figured that I was with somebody that everybody trusted, and she was responsible, so she trusted her too.
And she had won your mom over in a way, hadn't she?
Everybody.
Why at 28 did you decide to confront this woman and then videotape it and post it on YouTube?
Well, my stepdaughter had just turned 11 years old, and that's around the time that I had started, this thing with her. And I kept thinking to myself, well, is that okay? Was that relationship okay? And would I be okay with my stepdaughter having that kind of relationship with somebody, a coach, a teacher? And the answer was always no. And it was just always wrong every single time I thought about it.
Well, I know that your attorney, David Ring, is here. And I know, David, Jamie was concerned that the statute of limitations would prevent this woman from being charged. But in fact, that's not the case.
That's not the case. What happened is California has a very long statute of limitations for these types of crimes. Unbeknownst to Jamie, when she posted that YouTube video, the police saw the video and immediately started investigating, and they've charged Cardosa with very serious crimes.
So where does the case stand?
The criminal case stands, Cardosa was arrested, and she's been charged with extremely serious crimes, aggravated child sexual abuse. Those crimes there's about 15 counts, and she's in prison on $5 million bail.
And she could face a serious sentence if she's convicted.
If she's convicted, she could spend the rest of her life in prison.
And you know, we reached out to her attorney, by the way, we should mention, and we've not received a response. We also reached out to the Riverside Unified School District, and they declined to comment on it, saying it was a pending case. And, you know, when you talked to her on the phone, you said how she had affected your life. Mm-hmm. How did she, or how does she still affect you to this day, Jamie, this whole ordeal that you had to go through?
Emotionally, with relationships, you know, I have a difficult time. It's just, you know, I have a family and everything. I love them to death, but there's certain things, like I don't trust people. My trust in everybody is just gone.
I know you're married, and you have as you mentioned,
engaged.
You're engaged, and you have an 11-year-old stepdaughter, and you have two children, two younger children, correct?
Yeah.
And it sounds like your husband has been incredibly supportive and understanding.
Yes, he's been great.
And what do you hope will come out of this whole thing? I mean, what do you hope your experience will teach other people?
I hope that she goes to jail, first of all, you know, because she took away my childhood, and that's something I'll never get back. I hope that it empowers people to come forward, that they realize that it's not too late. You can actually do something about it, because she's in jail right now. So.
Because another victim also came forward, another of her alleged victims.
Yes.
And so you just want to increase awareness. And
Absolutely.
What was the response when you posted it on YouTube? I know that, as I said, 1.2 million people watched it, which is sort of unusual, right?
Yeah,
you know why they did that? I think
crazy.
Maybe they just thought, wow, this woman is really brave.
I'm still shocked and amazed by it, but you know, when it hit 200 views, I was like, oh, that's good. But then it just kept climbing and climbing, and I was like, wow, like, you know, and then the responses that I get in my emails are just, it saddens me, because so many people have been through this, and you know, I wish I can help them all.
Do you hear from other victims?
Absolutely. There's, you know, one that comes to mind where she says she's 50 years old and she's never come forward with the abuse that she had done to her by another female.
Well, hopefully you'll give a lot of people the courage to follow suit and to do what you were brave enough to do. Jamie, thank you for coming in. I know this is still probably very painful to talk about, so we so appreciate it. David Ring, thanks so much to you as well. And next